Good afternoon and welcome to our talk on United Hour. I am President Chad. In the house with me, we got the man Devin, Greg B, Zachary, and Big Phil.
I'm a shine you go bright oh. Okay for the night oh.
Sip on this blessed Sunday.
Richard
Many
Arnold,
blessings unto the fathers.
Richard Arnold,
on
you
this
are the
good day.
man.
Cheers to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day.
Happy not Mother's Day. That's what it will say.
Yes, happy Father's Day.
We know that different parts of the world have Father's Day at different times, but in this part of the world, happy Father's Day.
Oh man.
So, gentlemen, how we doing on this weekend?
Relaxing. I'm grateful we didn't have to see United lose again, so it's a nice relaxing weekend right now. We shall see you in the next couple months. So
I hear that. Zachary, I hear you are man celebrating today.
Yeah, celebrating. I'm better, all good. Everything's great. Ready to be outside. You know the scene.
That's what we're talking about.
More power.
Well, fellas, you know, we had some very interesting happenings in the universe of Manchester United. We had some protesters planning to go by the house of Richard Arnold, our new CEO, and somebody informed Richard Arnold that they were coming. I assume it might be the owner of the bar where the fellas was linemen probably planning their escapade. But nonetheless, we don't know exactly. But Richard Arnold found out that they were going to be showing up. And he met them at the bar and bought some drinks. And they had some frank conversation. Somebody filmed it unawares to Richard Arnold. So the comments that were made by him were not for camera, let's say. It was to say he knew that he was being filmed. And some interesting stuff came out of it. Before we jump into the crux of it, I want to ask you all, you know, what do you all think about the planned protest in the first place? Do you all think it's okay to go by people's homes and protest them? Do you think that's cool for fans to do?
So at least it'll be a little different here in the States, but as far as I'm concerned, if you're not breaking any laws, if you're not damaging any property, what case do you really have against them for that?
It's not a matter of a case, you know. I'm asking your personal opinion. Do you think it is okay?
Well, so the whole thing is like if you're peacefully protesting and all that, all right, yeah, I don't see an issue with that. The minute you start threatening the man's family and things like that and destroying property, things like that, that's where okay, you're starting to push it a little too far. Like people threatening Harry Maguire's family or whatever that was, like that was pushing it too far. But like if you're protesting out front, whatever, and like you're doing it peacefully, I don't really see a big issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an issue, but like, don't you have anything else better in your life going on to be doing or to be productive?
Well, that just goes to show how much the club means to these people, Phil. And personally, I share Devin's sentiments. If it's a situation where nobody is in harm's way and no sort of physical altercations take place, that I don't mind, because at the end of the day, it's a demonstration of your stance on the whole situation at hand. So I can't be mad at that. Once nobody is injured, nobody gets any kind of serious complications to that.
I get like I said, I have no issues with the guys protesting, right? But at the end of the day, what does one protest get out of it, right?
So to go off of that, it's not just one protest. It's that group in 1958.
1958, yeah.
They've done multiple things now, and it's starting to grow. And so
weren't they the ones responsible for the protest in Old Trafford?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah,
I think the last two, but like they had one that was outside that was an absolute fail because they tried to recreate the Liverpool match. But then 1958 came around, they did the Chelsea match, and they did Norwich, I think it was.
I think the last season they also did the Liverpool game, that one as well too, where
Which
they went
will
on the
be-
field
it
and
will
vandalized.
It will be very interesting when I go over in August to see how the protests, how bad it will be then too. So I will definitely have to report back on that.
True.
You know,
Just stay safe.
I hear, you know, once you're not breaking the law, it's okay. But you know, if a man walk up to you in public, right, and he threatened to hit your bellas, he come up to you and he do so, but he ain't hit you. We ain't hit you, so he ain't break the law. He ain't assault you. But the fact that he walk up to you and he do that, you might spill your drink, you might trip back, you might, in an attempt to defend yourself, you might hit him. And then suddenly they charge you for assault because you don't know what his intentions are. My
In a
thing is,
situation like that, you could plead self-defense. And there's also a charge called accepted assault.
I have a question, but would not be like someone sending you a threat online? Isn't it kind of like similar, where like they
no,
threaten to do something to you, but they
online,
don't actually
depending
do
on
it?
what it is against the law in most places, right?
Yeah,
But
and exactly what
saying
you're
is,
referring
if
to
a
would be
man come
considered
and do
cyberbullying.
this, if a man
Yeah,
come
but
and
like-
do this, he ain't hit you. And if you don't know his intention, you know, if some people come outside your house, now they may very well be peacefully protesting. If you have children outside, you're gonna leave them outside? No.
Nope.
You're gonna say come inside because you don't know. Who's to say people out there, you know, they don't get fiery, they don't get irritable, they you know, they don't start pelting stuff. Things can escalate.
Yeah, but as
I am all
as
for
natural human reaction, when somebody looks to raise their hand and attempt to slap you, you're gonna do a couple of things are gonna run through your head. You're either look to defend, you're either gonna look to dodge, and then hit that person, right? Or dodge
but
and run away.
that is exactly my point when it comes to people
talking
coming
fire.
outside your home to protest. When you don't know their intention. So they are coming out there, you started to see gathering in front of your home, then they chanted what they're gonna be chanting: happy birthday, have a great Sunday, happy Father's Day. No, they're gonna be chanting anti-Glazer, things anti-you, and you don't know where is that gonna go. You understand?
True,
You know,
true.
I remember during the BLM riots in one of the states, people were walking down the street and started gathering in front of some people's home. And people walk outside with a shotgun. Now, they walk outside with a shotgun to protect their home. They wasn't looking to antagonize anybody. But immediately the protesters were like, hey, they walk out with a shotgun. And now they start congregated in front of the people's home, wanting to get into their property, wanting to pay stuff for them. And, you know, things can escalate, is all I'm saying. I am all for protest, but I think, you know, there need to be lines drawn. You know, there need to be lines drawn. Shout out to Martin Phillip, Mark Lewis, Jeremy, Alex. Good happy birthday to you gentlemen. That's I know Mark Lewis and Martin Phillip are fathers. I can't speak for the others. And these guys are also sending happy Father's Day to the members of the panel. I don't know that anybody on the panel today is a father, but
Not that I know about.
As far as I'm aware of, no.
I have a daughter.
I'm good.
Hey, well, that's what I'm saying.
Happy
Jeremy,
I'm an uncle. That's as close as I can get. I'm an uncle.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Devin.
Jeremy is saying, let's get down to the real problem, guys. What's going on with the transfer? Everyone getting their business.
I like Jeremy already, man. I like Jeremy, man. Stop beating around the bush, man. Get down to the real nitty gritty.
Jeremy, set up a camera and get on this panel now, Jeremy. I like the way you type. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Boy, I fed up asked Jeremy to come on this program. I don't know why Jeremy keep hiding from us, but nonetheless. So that's my thing. I would like to see more public protests. I would like to see celebs who support Manchester United going out there with jerseys in public spaces saying Glazers out. I would like to see when the Buccaneers doing stuff, when we play home and away, big banners. You know, these are the kind of things.
You should see my inbox with that because I live in Tampa Bay. Well, Lord, you should see my inbox with people with requests for that, for all that stuff.
These are things that put public pressure. It also puts it in the media, and nobody likes bad press, right? These are the kind of things I would like to see. Going in front of people's homes to protest I have a problem with because of where it could go. I don't know your intention. If you come in from my home, I don't know your intention. I don't. I am going to call the police. If it escalates, so be it. But I am not just. That is not cool.
So let me ask you this question now too. If you don't go on their property, but you're on the public property outside of the home, is that still an issue?
It can't be.
It's going to be a disturbance, right?
Legally, it is not an issue. I'm not talking about legally. Once
Yes,
you
you're talking
protesting
about-
in the road in front
Yes,
of my
I
house,
will. So like obviously, like if I see that stuff coming, I will be prepared. Like whether it's setting up cameras. Well, living in the state of Florida, I do have a couple of weapons in my house. So like making sure you come prepared like that, but call the police, get everything ready, like documented things like that. But if it's like you have an issue, whatever going on. I also think Richard Arnold was smart by getting tipped off about it. Whoever told on them, he planned ahead of it, and that was a smart move to go and talk to his people before it escalated too much. Because that way, he took his family out of the firing line.
Yeah,
For real.
So I do see that as a very smart move from.
You should either live in a gated community or live in a high rise condo. That's my take.
or a dog.
But
before we start
when
jumping
we look at it, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Gregory.
I said when we look at it from that perspective, it's also that he kind of wins over some of the fan base as well too, because he didn't shy away from meeting with them under other than the previous CEO that we had in place. He decided to just take the forefront and say, all right, you know what, these guys want answers. Let me provide some much needed insight that will kind of help quell it and maybe turn the tide a little bit back in his direction.
But so, and this is just my personal take right now. Don't you think he sounded a little bit too much like a politician for anybody else's liking here? Like you're saying,
he has to. Well, let's face it, Devin. He kind of has to tread water too. He knew it was a possibility.
Okay. You're saying yes. Okay, I said you said all the right things. Okay, cool. I like what you said. Obviously, he just took over the role, so it's too soon to actually judge him based on what he said. But it's like, all right, I like what you're saying, but now I want to see what you're doing. And I
can state the obvious, right? Now, when you get a certain position or a certain status in life, all of your answers become political. Okay? There's never a straight up answer. And once there's cameras on you, everything always becomes a political answer.
Exactly.
Right?
There's lines that don't have to be told because you remember you're representing an organization and they've already have a lot of negative reputation, negative publicity from previous situations. So with him being newly installed in that position, he kind of has to find the dance on the fine line between not just saying anything and everything they want to hear, but also not painting the Glazers in a bad light. So
yeah,
you kind of understand the rock of the hard place Richard Arnold's in right now.
But that's why, and this is why I said before, it's like I am giving him the benefit of the doubt for now. So let's see if his actions back up what he's saying. That's why I'm saying, like, okay, yes, again, you said all the right things now. Now let's see your actions back up what you're saying. Mm-hmm. You do those two things, you win me over.
Also, don't forget when you get a specific.
People talk and then don't deliver on their promises. So I think we've all seen it.
That's the natural agenda of a politician, right? They always talk,
making promises
that
never walk, but never walk.
And also when you get a specific way in life or a certain status, you're walking on eggshells as to who you choose to interview you or who you choose to talk to, right? Because like I posted in the group where Richard Arnold was so surprised that he was being recorded, right? And I'm like, you can't be surprised, buddy. This is 2022. Everything is always being recorded.
You have two strikes working against them. You're basically the CEO of Manchester United, and of course, we live in an era where social media reigns supreme.
You should always have the mindset of Big Brother is always listening or watching. So you say things, you better be ready for anything you say or write down or whatever to be out there. So you better be able to back it up.
He is walking around with a camera crew and a sound system on them. You understand? You could be recorded.
When I pull my phone out of my pocket, that should signal an intent to say, you know what? Let me watch what I'm saying in front of these
Exactly.
people. Okay.
No, it's even nowadays. Like even if you don't, if it's somebody I don't know, and sometimes there are people you do know, like how you know they're not trying to secretly record you. They have like because they have glasses now with the cameras in them. They have the pens with the
Yes,
little.
exactly.
So you should always have the mindset of, am I okay with what I'm about to say to these people I don't know being out there in social media just in case?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, the
anyone.
baseline behavior.
The glass brand, Ray Ban, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They just came with sunglasses that can
exactly,
actually record
exactly,
you, right?
correct.
A lot of people aren't ready for that as yet.
I mean, anyone should be like careful what they say around people. They should know like, that who they could trust and whatnot. But especially being the CEO of a major football club, you
Mhm.
really gotta be careful, like even more careful than
And
normal.
that's one of the reasons why I myself I'm not on TikTok, because
Yeah,
a lot of companies these days they're asking you for your resume, but they're also asking for like your social media, right?
yeah.
So if they ask you for your TikTok, boy, that could be the
Yeah,
difference
but just
between
because you're not on TikTok, they could go on any social media site, and
Yeah,
if they
so
see
like
you engaged in any kind of behavior
have
that
my
may be
Facebook,
questionable.
I have my Instagram, I have my Twitter, all that stuff too. It's just as long as like so, and this is something that like this generation afterwards now is gonna have to struggle with. Um, Go along with the mindset of anything you put out on the internet
will
will
stay
be there
there.
forever.
Yeah.
Are you willing to live with those consequences?
It's called. I break it down to
And
an
that's
acronym.
and that and
SMA.
that's
SMA. Social media accountability. Because at the end of the day, you have to be
so
accountable for what you do.
as long as you can justify your stuff, like you know what,
Uh,
like you look at my social media pages. Let me tell you this right now. You think you'll find anything offensive? And I mean maybe you go back to 14 years ago or so when I was in university and I thought I was some motivational speaker and put up some motivational quotes, which never came true, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But that's about as far as you will get on me. So
right. Yeah.
yeah.
Most
So
of
yeah,
my stuff is
Richard
probably just music. That's about it.
Richard
That's
Arnold
me.
is Richard Arnold by now should know that he's a public figure, right? You're the damn CEO of one of the biggest clubs in the world, right? So if you are caught in a situation where you're surrounded by people and they're not journalists or professionals trained in media, bruv, the first thing that's coming out is a cell phone. That's
Yep.
the first thing that's coming out.
And I think that is exactly why his answers were also the way they were. As much as it was
Mhm.
straightforward and he didn't know he was being recorded, I don't think we should have expected anything crazy because he knows the world we living in. Anything he says
Yeah.
would be reported in some way or the other, if not recorded in some way or
It's,
the other.
it's not a
People
court case. It's not a court case,
like,
but anything you say can and will be used against you.
subscribe, make sure and become part of the United Hour, and tell your friends, share the link, get people involved. So let's just jump a little bit into what some of the things Richard Arnold said. One of the things Richard Arnold said is that John Murta is working from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day trying to get the Frankie de Jong deal done. Now, guys, I want to know, do you all think he's riding to Spain or something? To Barcelona? Because I don't know what he could be doing.
I don't
from
believe
6 to 10 every day.
that BS. I don't believe that BS because Frankie De Jong is a almost great player, right? And he will start in our midfield, right? But if you're spending so much hours on just one player, what's going to happen to the other 3 or 4 players that we're linked with? Well, you could burn out by end of July. You could burn out.
So my question is, what is his definition of working, aka delegating things? You talk to this person, and simply report back to me, or is he there on the phone trying to speak to the agent, to whoever at Barcelona to make it done? Like that. That's what I would like to know. How you're on there 18 hours a day talking about you're trying to get this thing done.
And I mean, one deal on top of that too.
No, I don't know. I don't know the logistics of transfers, right? And I'm not going to pretend that transfers should be like FIFA. You look to you scout a player, you say approach to buy, you talk to the side man there, you offer this deal, that deal, right? I'm not going to pretend I know the logistics, right? But if I take it back to basics, I ask for a player that I want. You give me a price. I look to try and match that price as close as possible. right? Club can either say yes or no. If the club says no, I have two options: move on to another player or raise my price. Why is it taking a month to do that? Why?
How long did it take to buy Paul Pogba again?
I have no idea.
Full transfer window.
Thank you.
What about Jadon Sancho?
It took
Yeah,
2
it took
years.
two
to buy-
transfer
months.
windows.
it took
Exactly.
2 years.
This
to buy
is
Jadon
this is
Sancho.
basically Manchester United's
It's the
transfer
same thing.
process.
know-
Bruno Fernandes should have bought in that summer window, and it took us all the way to the middle of the winter window
Well,
when
we,
we were
we,
actually
we, we need also to remember that a
this.
lot of the guys who were responsible for the past transfers have been fired.
Exactly.
So we have people in positions for the first time. Now, obviously, you should have some idea of what you're doing. But I don't think the length of time has anything to do with our stuff. I think it has a lot to do with how high we're willing to go.
It's another thing which, and this is one that some fans may hate me over. I really don't care. I like the fact that it seems now that United are drawing this line now in the sand where we're going to stop overpaying for these players who are not worth what we're paying for them. And so we have to get rid of that reputation before we start going on anywhere else. So these things don't happen in the future. I feel like Barcelona is still thinking that, oh yeah, let's see if we can get this amount of money out of them when he's really only worth this amount of money. And so it's
Devin,
going to be
I am
kind of like a
glad
cat
you
and mouse
touched
game.
on that. I am
What
so
happened?
glad you touched on that.
But yeah, so to me, it's in a way I actually am okay with this from that standpoint, because you're putting your foot down saying no, those days of that are done. We will pay what the player is worth. You're not going to get an extra 20 million out of us, so we can be the laughing stock.
I can ask one question. I can ask one question. When you say I'm going to pay what the player is worth, are you talking about is it how much they're worth to you buying them, or how much they're worth to the club?
The valuation.
So it's the club's valuation. So it's like, for example, like we all have heard the story of like how Shakhtar rinsed United out of an extra 20 mil just because they threw it as a joke when the player really wasn't worth that. Just throw the number out there. United was like, oh yeah, fine, we can buy him.
Fred.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Don't
Over now.
Don't forget Frankie de Jong has 4 years left on his contract. 4 years.
Yeah.
But also remember, Barcelona is also in a financial situation right now too.
So they is it true that they turned down an opening bid of like 60 million? I heard that.
I'm not surprised by that.
But they want 85 million euros.
I will say this right now. I think that he will come for 75 mil.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, come down from there, please.
Yeah,
Zach, it's best you
60
take
mil.
guitar in the background there and sing a song that get for transfer. Yeah.
Mark, come down from there. Oh,
it was 60 mil plus 10 million add-ons, right? Now, I'm not going to lie. I'd rather we take the whole Arsenal, how Arsenal did business with Lille for Nicolas Pepe, right? Where they paid about 20 to 30 mil in installments every single season, right?
We could do that with certain clubs. The state that Barcelona is in right now.
Yeah, they need all the money up front.
We can't do that with this deal.
Yeah.
I just want to elaborate on what Devin was saying there, because when you look at how social media has reacted to that behavior, and I know this is something that was touched on Thursday, but at the end of the day, people need to kind of understand that you can't want change, and then you can't want the same Ed Woodward approach to the transfer market before. How is that changing anything? We're basically spinning top in mud. You look at that whole situation and you're wondering why we're taking our time. It's because we don't want to get screwed over like we've been in the past. If you look at let's face it. Look at these situations. The money that we paid for the likes of Harry Maguire, the money that we paid for Fred, the money that we paid for Lukaku, the money that we paid for this player, that player.
Wan-Bissaka.
Do we really want to be going down that road and then 2 or 3 years later down the line we regretting like, okay, we need to replace this guy because he's crap.
And Richard Arnold said as much. He said, we've spent over $1 billion. Where is it?
Exactly.
You're
not seeing any kind of change in any trading ground. You're not seeing anything.
Not just that. Forget about that. Where is $1 billion worth of players at Manchester United?
Some of them have already
look
left.
at the talent at Manchester United and say, yeah, boy, these are $1 billion worth of players. Absolutely not.
Players or the
So
club?
why should we be making those mistakes over and over?
Correct.
When it comes to the transfer market, we operated on serious losses because
But
we
present
literally
side,
had to
if you
sell
look-
players for less than the value we originally bought them.
If you look at the top 10 most expensive transfers in the EPL, Man United has about 7 of them. Your Lukaku, your Di Maria, your Pogba,
Maguire,
at least 5 more United have in that.
Sancho
transfer
must be in
window.
there.
yeah,
Sancho, Harry Maguire, and that's 5 there already, right?
What is our transfer budget for this transfer window?
So
Said
I
200
can't
million.
confirm this, but I'm hearing 120.
120, and we want to spend.
Richard Arnold came out and said 200 million though.
Yeah, Richard Arnold said
he said
200 million
200
pounds.
million.
Well, yeah, I heard that too, but that was the first time I heard that from.
But
this
we need
weekend.
about
Before
4 or
that, I was
5.
hearing 120.
We need about 4 or 5 signings for the least. So if we spend all our money on
the Glazers are
Dion,
basically strangling us when it comes to the
And
money we can put.
I just don't get why United fans are so upset that we missed out on Darwin Nunez. I am glad we missed out on Darwin Nunez because
I'm going to say it again. They can
that's
have the
17.
Uruguayan Lukaku. I don't
Yeah.
want that.
They could have him for 85 mil. He could be another Andy Carroll for all I care. So
Exactly.
is that how much they paid? 85.
yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
and like I
and,
said,
so, that to me is a step in the right direction right now, because to me that is way too much money for somebody who just had I call it their breakout season right now.
Yeah.
It's not like when Wayne Rooney came on the scene when it was like, yeah, boy, we know that he's ready for this. He has not been tested yet in the Premier League.
Nope.
I think he has not scored for Uruguay in 2 years, something like that.
the guy struggled to score a goal against the United States in the last friendly they had.
So we shall see. But imagine if we just signed him for this, and then he turns out to be a dud, and we get the same United thing, overpaying. Oh, here we go, Harry Maguire part 2 now. Only
80 mil. 80 mil back in the day got us coming Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Well, Ronaldo to Madrid,
Yes,
right?
13 years
I
ago.
rather take all the
Benfica have
for
to be the
taking
greatest
him
finesse artists on the planet because they sell their players for nearly 100 million every time.
I rather take
Benfica,
Yeah, when
sold João Felix, and they sell them. Come on.
when it comes to recouping money for players, you have
We are
your
shit.
you have your Monaco, your Ajax,
Dortmund.
your Porto, your Benfica, your Dortmund. Those teams,
Ajax.
Ajax as well too. Southampton. Those players know how to get talent and then recoup that money, right? So
More like finesse the big clubs.
Monaco. Don't forget, Monaco sold Ndombele, Mbappe, Bernardo
No,
Silva.
and Dembele was Leon.
Shoot, they even sold us Martial. So
Benjamin
yeah.
Dembele
Mendy.
was Leon. Monaco was Bernardo Silva,
Tielemans.
Tielemans, yeah, Chouameni,
Benjamin
Mbappe.
Benjamin Mendy as well too. Yeah, Fabinho as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those guys know how to get those guys scouting network is
phenomenal.
amazing, right? Yeah. But I honestly I would not be surprised if this Frankie De Jong saga turns into something similar to Wesley Sneijder. I won't
Oh
be surprised.
God, please no.
I won't be surprised.
But I don't think we ever made a bid for Schneider though.
We were interested, but I can't remember how official
I
bid
don't
ever
think
went through.
I don't think we made a bid for him. So this seems closer. But it could be another Sancho.
Yeah, well,
So-
Gerard
so
Romero
I-
keeps
so I
saying
do-
that
so I
it's
do have
closed
a-
out then.
I have a question for the panel right now, and anybody in the comments could answer this as well too. When the transfer window shuts, is Frankie De Jong a Manchester United player or not?
I think there's a
In
strong
your
possibility. that it
opinion,
is.
and based on what you're thinking, yes or no?
Say that again.
I'll say yes.
So my question is, in your mind, in your opinion, when the transfer window is shut, is Frankie De Jong a Manchester United player or still a Barcelona player?
Oh,
All right, let's go around the panel. Phil, you want to go first?
I gonna say yes, but he won't be part of our preseason squad.
Zachary.
I think he will be a United player. And possibly in August.
Chad.
So same.
100%. De Jong is going to be a United player, and he is going to be unveiled before the beginning of the season, which is more than 4 weeks before the transfer window closes. 100%.
Yeah, I think I kind of have to share the same sentiments as the panel. I mean,
So
the way everything's pointing, it looks like he's going to be a United player.
try
will put
to
it to you this way.
understand.
I see him coming in for 75 mil before the start of the season.
I trying to understand Mark Lewis' comment with regards to the Red Woman, right? Because in my opinion, back in the day, Red Women always get everything they want.
Yeah,
So
wait.
they always get everything they want. So
They still do. They still do.
they still do, right? So
Please be advised that the opinions on the United or not the opinions of Man United supporters Caribbean or anyone here. We can show no discrimination on this panel.
And we figured out who's our attorney here now, right?
Red woman, we love you. We do. Taking from the president.
Speak for yourself.
speak for yourself.
This is why we love the virtual bar that is Talk United.
I need a drink for that one.
I need to go get a refill soon.
You see,
God.
normally I doesn't need to leave for a refiller, but I started drinking before the show started, so you know what is going. Drinks is finished.
Yeah, we had how many rounds had I go? We had a guy next round.
Correct.
So,
Bring drinks so they can pay. So yeah,
you know, there have been some people that have been all positive about Richard Arnold going out there and talking to supporters, and even some of the stuff he said overall, they've been looking at it positive. And there's some people that have been negative, oh, he's a stooge of the Glazers and X, Y, and Z. You know, I think some United supporters are detached from reality.
Some.
Because these guys could be working in McDonald's, right? If a camera crew comes into McDonald's and asks them their opinion on McDonald's, I doubt that they're going to be like, well, my supervisor is a bitch, and you know what is going in the kitchen, and I don't think they're going to do that, because they know if they do that, they're out of a job. What do we expect Richard Arnold to say? The Glazers are shit? I mean, who does that? Especially when it's possible that you could be being recorded.
It's more along the lines of you don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? It's more along those lines.
But we're in a day and age now where you can't please everybody, and unfortunately, everybody's reach now is way larger than it ever was before. So at the end of the day, you just have to figure out who is worth who's worth your energy and your time to respond to, or even pay attention to, or whatever else too. Because I am pretty sure there's people out there who think I am the worst thing in the world. You know what? I don't care. They don't pay my bills. You know what? They're not sleeping with me, so don't worry, I good. So yeah, exactly.
I don't give a ram. Go what nobody think.
Exactly.
You know, so we had a.
You know what we say. You know what we say that Big Phil can't style me.
Yeah, people are reasonable. What do we expect the manager to do? What do we expect the manager to say? And then you hear people, you know, I mean, there's a particular direction I want to take. I want to throw something out there because I think it needs to be said. But before we get there, let's answer this question from Martin Phillip. Martin Phillip is asking, name one player Ten Hag should get if you were the manager.
Christian Eriksen.
As your player, well, we put in a bid. I mean, if it's one thing, we cannot say that this is a one deal at a time club, because we have spoken to Christian Eriksen and we're waiting on his response while we're doing the Frankie de Jong deal.
So to me, with the Christian Eriksen one, it makes sense from a financial standpoint. No transfer fee, somebody who can come in, and also even if it's a short-term solution right now, he's going to be playing out of his mind with the World Cup coming too. It's going to be beneficial for both parties. Get a good pitch. He can help fix up our midfield for now while we sit there and rebuild like we need to. So to me, like, I would put a lot. Yes, Frankie de Jong, we want him, but get the free transfer and give him a 1-2 year, and you could pay him. You could pay him a little extra as well too. This is one of those times where, like, I think paying him extra would be worth it, aka the Juventus approach with free transfers.
Yeah. I heard he's also linked to Spurs too, but I think he might want to try something different.
Well, it's not that he linked to Spurs, it's we Spurs and somebody else put in.
Brentford want to keep him as well too.
He's a free agent, so he has the 3 contracts in front of him. It's all about which one he chooses.
And he's also said that Champions League isn't a big requirement, but so that kind of gives us some sort of hope, but you never could tell.
So I for sure would want Christian Eriksen and a defensive mid. if that's the least we're going for, right? My whole dream scenario is we bring in Frankie and also Christian Eriksen, right?
Yeah.
But
I
if
think
we
that's
got
the
to
initial
settle,
plan in it.
if we got to
Well-
settle for Christian Eriksen and also a defensive mid, it won't be the worst transfer window, but it won't be the best either, right?
Phil, he said you could only
See-
choose one guy. So
Oh,
pick
one
one.
guy. Well, Chris. Well, actually, no. I'd be if I had to choose a defensive midfielder, it would be Ruben Neves.
CJ, you know, when you come in the bar, you can take off your mask.
I know.
Yeah,
I just
think he might be with
I
you.
know what he on a mask for.
I personally, I don't know, if we get a defensive midfielder, I'd have gone for this guy Sangari from PSV because he seems to be relatively willing to come, and I like his energy. The numbers he's putting up in the air division were pretty good, so that's one guy I would look for as a defensive midfielder. But my ideal would definitely be De Jong for sure. That's the one guy I probably think we're making a priority, and I can see why Ten Hag would want him.
For me, the Haidara, I think could be a goal, but nah, forget that.
Yeah, we.
Sangar
Run the bet on that one.
is a good shot. Sangar is a good shot, but if we talking Premier League proven, I put in Ruben Neves first, right? So
I would if I had to choose one player, it would be Wilfred and Didi.
Ooh.
Actually, yeah.
Wilfred and
You
Didi
know-
would be the player because he would not be as expensive as Frankie, and he's also
You sure
Premier
about
League
that?
proven.
you sure
Yeah.
about that, Zach boy?
Dude, you forget what they did with us with Harry Maguire.
How many more years on his contract?
It don't matter.
It don't
It
matter.
don't matter. It's
It don't
Leicester.
matter at all, boy.
Leicester love to
No,
finesse us
no,
out of some money.
Boy, I feel it would be a little bit less, boy, but I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
ask you a question.
Maybe the same
Everybody
price, maybe the
remember
same
drink
price.
water?
Yeah.
Yes.
Whew.
You know how much money Leicester get from Chelsea for drink water? Where drink water is now?
He
Wasn't
would-
he in
he
the
would
second
ask
division or
Chelsea.
something?
He with Patrice.
That's
I
it,
don't even
Robert.
know if drink water played in the championship
No.
and Chelsea slaloming and all that money. So
Wait,
not
a man
maybe
say he
Chelsea,
played for the
Leicester.
Stanley?
Leicester
A man say he
slaloming
played
and
for
all
the
that money.
Stanley there? That what you say?
Yeah, so I good. Don't get me wrong. I like the
Okay.
names you all call, but
What
for me,
about Tielemans?
Yeah, well, Arsenal seem to have the run on him right now.
Tielemans is a good player.
Yeah,
I don't think Tielemans better than Frank.
I rate Tielemans for sure, definitely.
I rate Tielemans, but I don't think he's better than Frankie. I'll be honest with you.
Premier League proven.
2 weeks ago, Frankie would not have been the one player for me. But after I looked at some video and did some, got some info on him and realized that at Barcelona, he has played multiple positions, including centre back, including the 10. You realize how versatile a player he is. And you add into the fact that we have a manager that is going to be running a new system, and he needs players that understands his system. So
Yes.
it's not everybody you're teaching it from scratch to. He has
That will be
De Jong, and he will have De Jong, and then he has Donny van der Beek. So that is at least 2 that you could say, all right, I could start a build around these 2, because it's not about their individual talent, it's about the fact that they understand the system.
All I'm gonna say is wherever Frankie goes next season is gonna be awkward for him. Because if you stay at Barcelona, you can be on the bench because Barcelona they want you. And second of all, when you come, if you do come to Manchester United, it can be slightly awkward. But Eric Ten Hag will be there to show you the ropes and what's not, right? But
So I want to answer this comment after you finish.
What the one Jeremy's?
Yeah.
Oh,
what you mean with all the top players?
So the way that I look at it, it's a player you won't have to pay a transfer fee to. It's a player that you could give him a good wage, and yeah, we'll be set with that. And it's a solid midfield. You can call it a band-aid fix, but that's a good 1-2 years right there. That gives us more time to bring in a player that we want and somebody who we know can play, and we can get a good bargain for him right now too. So to me, that is a no-brainer right now. Instead of focusing all this time on a transfer that may take the entire transfer window finish, get somebody in now before he goes somewhere else, and we're left scraping the bottom of the barrel for whatever we could find at that point.
Christian Eriksen is 30 years old. He's not like 33 or 34. The guy's 30 years old.
Not over the hill.
Exactly. So, like I said, you get at least 1-2 seasons and potentially more. But the big thing is it's a free transfer. So it makes sense.
about 5 seasons if you get.
but Devin, if you were able to get a player without money being an issue, maybe that's what he's asking. I don't know.
Without money being an issue,
Yeah.
fuck it, Mbappe then.
Don't you think we have enough wingers?
You know what's the interesting thing? Football is really cyclical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
5 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, you're talking names like Kante. You're talking names like Partey. You're talking names like Casemiro. There was a list of about easily 8 to 10 CDMs, quality midfielders that you could call out. Now, most of those guys are either too old or didn't live up to the hype in the case of Partey and some of the others. Even Milinkovic-Savic, you know. So now it's kind of like when Jose was here and we needed a CDM, the list of top quality CDMs was long. Now when I look around, when you hear men calling Neves is at best a box to box. He's not a CDM, but we'll take him because he's better than anything we have. You know, the list of out and out quality CDMs is just not what it was 3, 4, 5 seasons ago. You know, so we have to really reassess things based on what's going on now.
I mean, we had two options at CDM before when Ralph was still in charge, and they left for other clubs because the board didn't want to give him anything. So,
about 5 years ago, I would have taken William Carvalho. I don't know if you guys know him from
Port in Lisbon.
Yeah.
Wasn't he linked to West Ham at one point too?
He was linked to Arsenal a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he just went to Betis.
Yeah,
Real Betis. Yeah. I mean,
But
another player that was very highly touted was Nabil Fekir. He was basically on the verge of joining us, Liverpool, and that deal went sour.
Where is he now?
He's at Betis as well.
He's at Betis as well.
No, I don't mean where is he in terms of where he is playing. I mean in terms of where you rank him in top CDMs. You're not hearing his name mentioned anymore. So there are a lot of guys.
Fakir's a CDM?
No, he's an attacking mid.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, but I mean, you know,
Carvalho and
in terms of the names, you know, some of these guys, their value haven't continued to rise. Their stock hasn't continued to rise.
And the guys you consider specialists within that particular position will be very highly touted. You'll have to get a piece of money to prize them from the clubs that they're
currently. Look at Bissouma. Bissouma was only £35 million. We could have got that.
No.
You know, it's interesting, and I wanted to bring up that Bissouma. Two things: the Bissouma deal, and there was another deal that happened within the Premier League. And trust me, Spurs paid 35. If it was Manchester United,
we'd have to pay like 65 or something like that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's what I was trying to speak about earlier. Just now, we need to get rid of that where we're overpaying for all these players and not getting proper value. So, yes, there is going to be some growing pains while we put our foot down. Yep. You would just United fans would just have to be patient. I know it's a losing cause right now to say this because people are going to still speak anyway, whether that's because they honestly believe that or that's because that's how they get views, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you have to be patient and you have to continue to live your life normally because there's no point in getting stressed out over it right now.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm gonna agree / disagree with Devin is because don't forget we as a society live in this Amazon Prime fast food microwave society.
Yeah, everything right now, yes.
Right. So I mean, like when you see your rivals, like when you see Fabrizio Romano announcing your rivals, here we go, have signed this player, right? The first that's come to mind is what the hell is my club doing? Right?
Yeah, well, it took some time for Amazon Prime and everything to run efficiently, so.
And plus,
I keep on saying it's growing pains because, like, you think about it this way, like from you remember, like from Manchester City, like when they were coming up, they thought that signing Joe was a big player, and like they signed Robinho, who thought he was coming to Manchester United, and that tells you like the pretty much how it was, and you look at where it came from now.
They considered signing like Georgia Samaras and these guys big names.
How many signings did Liverpool get wrong to start to get it right now? Like you have to realize right now, like yes, I get it. We're in a society of we need right now. It has to be done right now. But no, you need to get over that. You need to get over that. Whoever's thinking that.
To piggyback on Devin's comment, you have to understand when these clubs were making rush signings, it looked nice, but in the end result it wasn't good because Pep first season he had men like Nolito and everything, and man was like, "Yo, Nolito gonna be this big thing," and that man
where's Nolito?
Nowhere to be found. Nolito is nowhere to be found. in top level football.
And
And
heart fell off the face of the earth. They had to get, he resurrect Claudio Bravo, and now Claudio Bravo gone. So it's like it's so many changes.
I find one thing funny, and this is to take it away from the transfers with regards to us, right? Louis Van Gaal. Now, Louis Van Gaal is a man that told Julian Timber, if you don't start for Man United, you won't start for Holland. But then Louis Van Gaal picks Nathan Ake to start for Holland every single time. You guys can continue now.
He's bitter. He's bitter. Who like you seem like
he's lucky he just recovered from cancer. Otherwise,
anybody here
nasty
on this panel does not know that. Like, and that's the perception as it comes off as. So like Louis Van Gaal, whatever, his Van Gaal's best moment was when he simulated the flop versus Arsenal, and that's what he's remembered for at United. So, but like, so I really don't care. Yes,
I mean,
you win an FA Cup and you get sacked. Okay, fine, whatever. You want to be bitter afterwards? And I hate to say this bluntly in this way. He will be dead and gone in a couple of years, so it doesn't matter anyway. So you keep it moving for now.
The old me is dead.
It's like I said. He's lucky. He's lucky he cancer before. He's lucky he recovered from it. Otherwise, I might have said something very nasty about him.
Guys, what?
Yeah, exactly. And people
I didn't understand a word that was said there. So many people talking.
To be honest, it sounded like I was watching anime. Honestly, I was like, "Where's the subtitles, though?" Somebody give me subtitles. What the hell?
Right.
You know, before somebody said a little bit about what it is where I wanted to go, and I think it was Phil and Devin as well. You know, one of the issues I have is with people like us, content creators, because there are a lot of people who, I'm not saying that they look on YouTube for an opinion, right? Because that's not the case. Most people have an opinion already. But when they go and they get certain opinions, and the people that they look up to or they respect as other United supporters that have a platform, and they always be a negative, or they quick to go down the negative route, you know, or they quick to get toxic, you know, that spreads through the fan base, because that platform amplifies that a lot more. Somebody might tune on the channel and they might be hopeful, and then every single show is like, oh, what's going on? Get rid of Murta, nothing can change. And eventually that starts weighing on you, and then you start sounding like that yourself. And I think content creators have a responsibility to the fan base to keep expectations reasonable, to be
no,
but
no, they don't. No, they don't. They have responsibility to themselves to get as much views as possible.
Understand this,
that's all they care about.
But you have to understand this, right? Well, you have to understand this real good. Because if you look at a lot of content creators, not even football, but also fan-based content, half the time, these content creators really care about that responsibility, you know? Because everybody wants to say, well, to be very honest, there's freedom of speech and freedom of opinion. Yes, but there's a responsibility of that freedom of speech and freedom of opinion. Because let's look at it like this. If I have a fan base that is very young and impressionable, and people who look to me for news, yes, I would get it wrong. I'm not saying I'm going to get it right all the time, but the kind of environment and discourse you make is on you. For example, when people said Saeed was getting bullied and people said it wasn't deserved, yes, I believe no one should ever be bullied, of course. But if you create a toxic discourse,
what is wrong with you?
What do you mean?
Let me ask you a question, CJ. Serious question. Were you ever bullied in any way? Anybody you ever teased? Anybody ever say your nose big? Your head picky? Right? Let me tell you something.
John, you're bullying right now.
Bullying.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Being bullied is part of life.
I'm not saying no to that.
Just now, CJ, just now. It is the same way, like when you go, you know, when you go to school, you see they're giving out to preschoolers and kindergartners certificates, right? for graduate. What the hell is that? Right? People run a race and 1 to 8, everybody get a prize. What is that? 1, 2, 3.
That's
Wow,
a
If you
Western,
don't finish in the top 3, no
that's a
prize.
Western society mentality, boy.
But what that builds in us is an understanding that you need to be excellent, that you need to strive for excellence. Now we're spoiling all of these kids, and these kids walking around feeling entitled when they have done absolutely nothing other than exist and feel because I exist, I'm entitled. And now people want to bring that in as to bring it back to football. That is the reaction of fans in the fan base now. I have a platform, so I could whine and I could this, that, and the other.
But also too,
and I shouldn't be abused. You abusing my ears when you're talking crap on every day and night.
No, but understand what I'm saying, Chad. I'm not saying that, but I'm also saying, and let me finish, is that you create a toxicity, you will get back to toxicity, and you can't be vexed about that. Like, if you create a toxic fan base, and then you are mad at said toxic fan base here, you, how am I supposed to feel about that? Like, bro, this is your creation. This is your product.
Don't forget the top creators in the YouTube or the social media world, right? 3/4 of their fan base are haters. Don't forget that.
Exactly.
They're
But
haters.
you know the thing that then it's like I try to tell this to people right now. You know what? Even if you have haters and they're still commenting on your stuff, you know what?
You win.
You're still watching my platform.
Winning.
You're still watching my platform.
You're basically getting interaction either way.
Sponsored or whatever, I am still getting paid off your views. So you can talk your opinion all you want. I will sit there and collect my checks.
I am one of the few
You
people
can't
that I
tell me.
know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I am one of the few people that I know that like Mayweather. Right? Money way back.
I don't hate him.
Mayweather the boxer. I'm one of the few people that I know that like him. But whether people like him or they dislike him, everybody used to want to watch him fight. And I used to tell myself, you all are so stupid. You all paying pay-per-view money to watch somebody you don't like in hope that he get knocked out. I like him.
It is that same thing that Jake Paul is doing right now.
It's like, I don't understand it. But back to the content creators. I don't know about other people. There's only so much crap I could take. I have unfriended.
Chad, if I can interject there for a second. You basically kind of have to take this old wrestling promoters idea from where they're coming from. Eric Bischoff, he said it best: controversy creates cash. He literally wrote a book that was titled that because when you look at that, he knows that the negative impact will have people watching because it fuels their attention. It fuels them to say, "Hey, I don't like why this is going," and they're just hoping that something goes horribly wrong. You may not necessarily want to go down that way, but at the same time, you know it's the one thing that is garnering the attention because people are seeing something that they don't agree with. They're seeing something that they want something to be stopped, but at the same time, they can't stop looking at it. So,
let me ask you a question, Mark Goldbridge. Most of the people who shares Mark Goldbridge content, do you think they really like him?
No.
Come on.
No.
Mark Goldbridge has over 1 million subscribers.
And that's just it. Whenever you see a clip of the United stand being shown anywhere, or whenever you've seen a clip of some reaction that he has to something, whether he sees it painting him in a bad light or not, he does not care because at the end of the day, he is getting paid
money.
Correct.
You know, but I have followed. I have unfollowed and unsubscribed from a number of United. That I used to watch every day.
So have I.
And I will tell you why. I think some of these guys have positioned themselves where they have to be sensationalists. And they position themselves where they're not even honest anymore about what they feel.
Clickbait merchants.
Right? They have to do that. You know why? Because if it is you have 3 shows a day, you need content for every one of those shows. And every show is an hour. Right? Or even if you have a show every day or twice a day and you need content for those shows. And every day you look on the news, you look at Sky Sports, you call who you know in United, and you're just hearing crickets. Right? The same news regurgitated, different wording, but same thing. We could read, if I read a Frankie de Jong article today and I read it from 2 weeks ago, is the exact same article.
It's the same thing.
Right? They just push it in a computer and they get paraphrase and they push it back out. And I have to go and talk about that every day. There's a reason why we have a transfer show one day in the week, right? Transfer Tuesdays with Big Phil, because it makes no sense to have a transfer show every day at this point in time when there is nothing going on for
Nothing
Manchester
developing.
United. What is Big Phil going to talk about every day? He's gonna have to become sensationalist. He's gonna have to wear colored wigs. He's gonna have to wear red nose. He's gonna have to do all kind of shit.
There will be a day when the United Hour, sometime in the future, will probably get to 100,000, 200,000 subscribers, right? If I'm still around, I releasing content every fucking day. Like I said, the year is 2030, and Frankie De Jong is almost linked to Manchester United.
We would never really go down that route.
Fair enough.
And some guys force themselves into the sensationalism.
But as that,
and that's the thing, Jack, right? Because when you look at what's taking place and what's going on, like CJ was saying, the people who are the content creators don't have that same level of integrity as a journalism is supposed to have and is supposed to practice, because they're not necessarily governed by those particular rules. Yeah. Whereas as a journalist, and as a freelance journalist myself, hold on, let me just make this point. As a freelance journalist myself, I understand what it means to make sure that you get the facts and you get them out correctly without misinterpretation or misrepresentation of what was said, and it doesn't get completely miscued. Because remember, you can be sued for basically misrepresentation of the person who you're quoting or representing in that regard. Content creators aren't liable to that simply because they just put it out there. They know what they're putting out there will get their views, will get attention, and builds their brand. They do not care how the individual is affected afterwards.
I can say one thing, President Chad, right? This is Caribbean related, right? Now, if you don't realize, people, and this happens in Barbados a lot. I don't know how it happens in Trinidad, right? But people would rather share when somebody is dead versus when somebody is graduating. Think about it. Whenever somebody dies, my WhatsApp is flooded. Whenever somebody graduates or celebrates a birthday,
nothing.
You know what? We just kill people. You just get a whole set of messages about Sparrow dead and this one dead and that one dead.
Sparrow is in his vacation house talking to his friends normal, you know.
And when you check it out, they're like, you know.
No, but it's true. It's always, people are always appreciated when they're gone.
Because you see,
that's just it.
We take advantage of the time that we have, but when we find out we don't have time, we then reminisce.
Mm-hmm. Now, people in the Caribbean, we don't, and I think I could say this Caribbean wise, we don't value history the way you know, we don't have as many museums and stuff that places like Italy and the US have, and because we don't value history, we don't value our living legends. So we just don't.
But also, when you think about how young most of our West Indian nations are, it makes perfect sense compared to when you're talking like Italy that has thousands of years of history where they had time to do this, and we only just started becoming independent last century. So I believe it will develop. It will come, but yes,
also too
fairly young too. So yeah,
also too, Devin, you have to take in the whole history of being young and being under colonialization. You're kind of at a point where you have to revise history, because if you look at it now, we are recently now arguing, not recently, but the argument to take down the Columbus statue has gotten legs in this era.
It's the same thing that we did in Barbados when we just removed Lord Nelson's statue.
Now think about it. When the average tourist from like a UK or North America travels to the Caribbean, are they really traveling to the Caribbean to look at tourism? No, they're looking to party. They're looking to drink. They're looking to get their back blown out. That's about
it. Go to the beach.
Yeah, but not everybody, Phil. People do come and they want to look. They want to see historical stuff. You know, they want and when they go to a museum, I know about Trinidad. When they go to a museum in Trinidad, it's like, what's this? There's a museum, or there's a class project. You know, there's this. What a class presentation? Wow. What is this? You know,
Chad,
let's bring it back.
Chad,
Let's bring it. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in.
Chad very well knows the museum does not get proper funding. He's sick for that, though.
Damn.
It's not about, it doesn't matter whether the museum get proper, it's how it look. Right? It's how it look. And if it look like a primary school project presentation for Carnival, then that's what it look like.
Okay, let's bring it full circle here. Now.
Wow.
I wanted to ask a question. Let me ask a question to the likes of Big Phil and Greg B and those internet professionals. How old or how long ago? How old is Fabrizio Romano's YouTube channel? When did he launch his YouTube channel?
That was fairly recent. I think it's
Right.
at least a year. No, recently got
Let me
it.
look real fast. I can tell you.
After the United YouTube channel
2018
started.
probably.
No, the reason why I asked that question is this. The last time I looked at it, which is some months ago, it's not recent. So I may be way off by now.
So he joined last year.
Something.
He joined last year.
See?
Right.
No,
700 and something thousand subscribers.
More.
Do we know why? Because it is reliable.
Yeah.
And he doesn't come on, he does not allow the desires of his followers to drive his content. When he has news, he puts on a program and he has news.
Yeah.
Right? And now he's a journalist. But my point is, and Jeremy is talking about Fabrizio Romano and Duncan Castles and somebody more popular.
And David
ones. The
Ornstein
point
and these
is,
guys here.
we have to be careful that yes, you want content and you want to talk about stuff, but you know, you also have to talk about stuff when it have stuff to talk about. When you create things to talk about, especially negative things that spreads through the fan base, it doesn't help. Murta had no power when Ed was here. We all know Ed didn't even want a director of football.
No.
Right? So now that Murta has power, Ed only leave in January, the end of January. Let's say in February to be more correct. Ed left in February. Murta is now getting a chance to do what he's hired to do. And it have men talking about get rid of John. Come on. What are we really saying? What are we doing?
That's just it. It shows how reactionary the fan base is, because we tell ourselves we see X, Y, and Z doing things, but we don't know how long these things were in process for them to actually happen and for the announcements to be made. These transfers don't happen overnight.
It's the same thing that we said earlier. Now it's fans now expect everything right now. They're not ready to deal with the growing pains. They just expect the instant gratification.
Microwave.
That is not going to happen. And the sooner that people realize this, the better it will be for everybody. Be a lot less gray hairs that all of us will get from stressing over things we don't need to do.
Or balding in my case.
Either or.
You want to lose a few
games to start the season. Where are we gonna be?
Depends.
You want to know how bad this society is? See, watch when Fabrizio Romano posts something. Look at the comments and the words. What about Man United? What about Man United? What about Man United? Fabrizio Romano could be announcing somebody who signed in damn well Brazil for Flamengo. What about United? Where's Frankie? Where's Memphis Depay?
But remember when I said we just a weird group, because when Rashford proposed, everybody was like, so about training though, and I like, dog.
But to be fair,
the guy can't have a life outside of football. Come on, man.
To be fair to Rashford though, it looks like I am liking what I'm seeing. Like the man cut his hair. It looks like he's been focused on training, doing the right thing so far. Now, once the season starts, we will find out if it pays off. But for now, like whether it's his PR team or him, they're doing the right things. So
let me just kind of piggyback off of what CJ was saying earlier, because me and Jody and I were in a Twitter space a few days ago, and let me tell you. I mean, Twitter is probably the most. It's like a rainforest when it comes to dealing with United fans. The wildest stuff, and you don't know who's going to say what on it.
Yep.
There was a guy who happened to be named the Angry Pundit. Yeah, that speaks volumes in itself. He was constantly complaining. It's like, oh, Chelsea signed somebody, Liverpool signed somebody, Spurs signed 3 players. I was like, why are United not doing that?
Chelsea supporters, right, just like us right now.
Yeah, I'm like, dude. I told him, like, dude, you need to calm down. I said and the same thing like I said earlier. I said you cannot want the change from the football club and then expect them to act like Ed Woodward is still here. It does not work that way. So then what are you really encouraging? What kind of change are you really anticipating? This is going to be a drawn out process, and we're going to have headaches along the way because players that we want may not necessarily come as quickly as we'd like to. So if you're not here for it, I suggest you take off your notifications from Fabrizio Romano.
I kind of like the anticipation,
pains, and it will make it so much more worth it.
Yeah,
shoot. Michael Jordan did not get it right. He even has a commercial about talking about all the times that he failed. Mm-hmm. And then at the end he says that's the reason why he's successful, because you learn from those mistakes to make sure you don't repeat them again. And then
I remember that commercial
in the long run. That is exactly the mentality people need to start realizing this. People need to stop thinking like, oh, because I didn't get it right this one time, I am a failure. I am the worst thing in the world. They'll cancel you right away.
Instant gratification. Instant gratification is one of the biggest.
I just learned a way not to do it for the next time. And eventually you will get it right if you are persistent.
Here we're going on. Right?
Feel good.
Here we're going on, right? As weird, and I use the term deluded, our fan base is. There's a football club by the name of Arsenal Football Club that have a fan base that tops us by millions. Okay? You think our fan base is deluded? I have a bunch of Arsenal fans on my WhatsApp. That's like, Phil, I am tired of our mother effing fan base. They're tired. They are tired.
Well, you could thank AFTV
for that.
Yeah.
And again, content creators help make that problem worse.
For me personally, I think if somebody tell me Arsenal fans is get on the most, I really wouldn't be surprised.
That's true.
Like
that is provable.
Like dog, no, like I'm very sorry. Israel, I don't get no gal / man energy.
Bro.
Like Jesus. What is wrong with you? They're talking about one day we will get some big player. Here we hear for Jesus. Dog, or your girl would say she'll go at Dexter Dapp's concert and then dance on nobody. And guess what? You would believe her. Because you will believe anything. You deluded. You deluded peasant.
She's one of the girls that say I went to that concert and I just sip my drink and I just whine and nobody could any man approach me. I get this
And say how bad the deluded is. There could be a video of your gal getting swing by Dexter Daps. Oh, I know my gal. What is wrong with you, Arsenal fans?
She getting bang harder than a head. She getting bang harder than a headboard, and she's like, "No, that ain't me. That is not me."
But the point being is like, it seems though that's starting to creep into our fan base as well. And if we are not careful,
we'll get there.
Exactly.
Because we have more content creators than Arsenal Fan TV, right?
And we have a bigger fan base as well too. So if one of them start getting followers start going around, it could grow.
There has to be a line drawn somewhere, and we have to recognize that there's basically making sure we have proper content and then sensationalism. We have to the bar has to stop there before it drops across the line of sensationalism, and a lot of channels have been dancing over that line. We have to know ourselves to not get there.
And it's kind of why.
You know what the worst part about this is now? Because I interact with a lot of players, current and ex-players as well too. We have shout-outs from certain players here. I don't want to give names right now. However, one of them is in Barbados right now. I asked him to give a shout-out to this YouTube channel. And because of these videos out there, he said, YouTube, no. So I had to go about a different way to get a shout out, because you don't want to give a shout out to the wrong channel, and all of a sudden you come and find out, oh, this ex player agrees with this channel because they put out all this stuff and he endorsed them by saying shout out to them.
Yeah,
so, you start to. See
I don't blame them.
Yeah,
I don't really blame them.
In a bad light, because now it's like they're taking sides in a situation. You don't want that to.
Meanwhile, all the player was thinking was, hey, look, yeah, I'm just trying to give a shout out to a fan base. But no, people take it and twist it for whatever they want.
It's true.
The simplest of things are easily misconstrued, and that can cause a whole unnecessary controversy.
That's why you have to watch everything you say, in case you're being recorded.
It goes along with what I said from before. Always assume Big Brother is listening or watching.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Richard, all in all, Richard Arnold was just trying to toe a line.
On the internet, it will be there forever.
Everything.
And that's the thing.
As long as you go with that, and if you can live with the consequences, fine, go right ahead.
And that's the thing. When you look at guys like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but Robbie from AFTV, you have to ask yourself, what is my legacy when this whole thing goes down? Because I feel like
a lot of people laughing at you.
I feel like we forget that your legacy is something that carries with you even when you die. Like, I don't want to be... Like, it's one thing to make people entertain, but at what level do we say, this kind of sad. This entertainment is kind of low-hanging fruit entertainment. And maybe I should try to be better. But you know what? All that attention and likes is get to people's head. Every time I see it happen, I tell myself, man, this be really shocking and jiving for some likes that can't even get you a piece of chicken in the massy stores, they're really just doing nothing. Nothing for likes. I really sorry.
Yeah, it's you have some people who will just put out outrageous stuff just to get the likes, the subscribers, because maybe like it could be this is their way of getting income. You never know.
Their mindset on the whole situation is this: that the only bad content is no content.
Or you could have, for example, like, because I've heard this from PR people before. Any publicity is good publicity.
It kind of falls into the same category as people saying sex sells. I actually talked to somebody who was doing advertising in a group, and he's like, "Yeah, we're doing that because sex sells." I was like, "Okay, crack sells too. That doesn't make it right."
Right?
I mean, facts.
Chad, you're muted.
You make your bed, you sleep in it. So
you put a woman
Chad, you're muted.
You put a model who's about 9 out of 10 next to a car. The man ain't checking out the car. Let's be real. He could buy the car, but he want the model with the car as well too. Come on, that's the advertising trick in the book, right? So
it's kind of like buying stuff off of Amazon. You see some girl looking and nice and a girl who probably got like 200 pounds plus trying to fit herself in something like that. You ain't gonna look like that. Come on.
Why is that? I don't want to. I'm not going to laugh at that because I won't want to get cancelled. So no, to laugh.
I'm just saying. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm not body shaming anybody.
Man, nah, Greg. If you're fat, you're fat. I care about nobody telling me. If you're
Sometimes, no, CJ. Let's be real. Let's be real. I understand that you want to take people's feelings and emotions and their sensitivity into consideration with other things, but there are some instances where you're going to have to be cool to be kind.
Yo, but it's so funny, right? I was watching a video with a woman who's about 400 pounds, and the doctor told her she's anorexic. But I said I would fire that doctor immediately. You rascal! I would fire that doctor. I would fire him.
And here we go. We just lost our whole demographic of women just now because of this conversation, right?
Yes.
You are.
At the end of the day, you do what pleases you. I will not judge you. Unless there's reason to, or you unfair me or something.
Devin.
You are 400 pounds, and you are as broad as Barbados. You try to tell me that you are anorexic? You have got to be kidding me,
these are the drinks talking here, fellas.
As a famous UK singer said, my year is different to your year. Everybody year different, and that's it. And I leave it at that.
I was on the video.
All I have to say to the ladies is we love you all how you all come.
Correct.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Just the way.
All the plus size women watching this, shout me in the winter. That's all you gotta say.
And CJ.
CJ Colin Peters Jr. is a man who like quartz fridge. I never once laughed and nobody here. So don't put me in that. Aye. I like my girl.
If I gotta give you
damage control right now.
if I gotta give you a ride home, you gotta give me gas money though. I'm sorry. I am sorry.
I, TJ Peters, like girl who size up like two saw. It's okay on my end. I good. Don't put me on that.
That's why nobody doesn't want to line with Ole, boy.
I know, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, as a man, I like everything, boy. So that's a lot.
Exactly.
I like everything.
Except Red Gallet.
No,
Actually,
I don't mind the big girl, but I hope she don't expect me to lift shit when carnival time come round, right? I need a crane. I sorry.
Hey, wait.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Mr. Killer when carnival time hit round.
We were going so well, and then you had to bring it there.
yeah, boy, oh good.
ladies and gentlemen, it is always nice to be here representing the United Hour and Old Talk. Thank you all very much for engaging with us. Remember, Red Devils don't die, we multiply.
And we drink
love
too.
all the ladies, big, small, and indifferent.
Facts.
Cheers, fellas. Cheers.
They got all the big women.
If I broke.